Wouldn't it be great if you knew exactly what to do when you ran into difficulties in life and when you needed a good idea? Wouldn't that help eliminate stress? A problem would come, but instead of worrying or becoming fearful about it, you would just turn to the things that you knew to do and not be ruled by your emotions. Today, I'll share a plan with you of what you can do when you're in need of a good idea of what to do when you have a difficulty in life. I'm Donna Rickett, the Stress Buster Coach, and I've taught hundreds of Christians how to bust free from stress, worry, and fear using biblical principles. So here's the plan. Number 1, stop and quiet yourself. This sounds simple, but it's hard to do if you've been hurt, embarrassed, or you're afraid, or when your mind is just spinning fast trying to find a solution to your problem. When we approach problems with a boiling over mad or a scared to death attitude, we'll make bad decisions. We'll want revenge. We'll make short-sighted decisions. We'll be ruled by emotions. And we'll be limited by our human knowledge of the situation. So next, go to God with the problem. Again, sounds simple, but how many of us have thought about our problem from every possible angle and got advice from everyone we know before we think to go to God and see what He thinks about the matter? I know I did that for years, mostly out of habit, and because I had become problem-focused instead of being answer-focused and God inside of me focused. I bet all of you listening believe that God is with us. He's available to us. But how often do we actually practice it? Next, expect to be given the needed answer. Did you know that God's not trying to hide anything from you in life? He isn't trying to see how much you can do on your own and how little He has to get involved. No, He wants you to succeed and He wants you to have wisdom. I think one of the reasons I didn't always immediately turn to God in the past was also because when I had turned to Him with a problem, I often heard nothing. And so I started to expect nothing. I wondered, was I even being heard? Did He care? And what I learned much later was that if I ask God for wisdom, God will give it, but it may not sound like Him, and it may not be immediate. Which leads me to the next 2 points. Listen to your own spirit. If you have an active relationship with God, your spirit is communing with God's spirit. Your spirit is being taught and strengthened by His spirit. In fact, your spirit and His spirit are one. So often the idea comes, but it sounds like it's your thought. And so you discard it as just being you and thinking you still haven't heard from God. Your intuition is your spirit, and it can be trusted if you're in union with God. Next, after asking for wisdom, assume you have it and move on. Many times as you go on with your day, God will bring the answer to you while you shower, while you drive, through a friend's comment, through a preacher on a podcast, or during a time of worship or a song that you're listening to on the radio. It will seem like an idea may have just popped into your head. Now, sitting and worrying about it won't produce any results. Trying to force an answer won't work. But if you really believe that you got the answer when you asked, even though you don't know it yet, but you simply believe the Bible that it says He'll give you wisdom, then you won't worry about it. Being relaxed and moving on allows the Spirit to flow and to bring the creative answer. Next, believe there is an answer to any and every problem. In Matthew 17, we find Jesus' disciples unsuccessful at getting rid of a problem they had. They were trying to cast out a demon that was causing a child to have seizures, and they asked God why they couldn't do it. And verse 20 says, "Because you're not yet taking God seriously," said Jesus. The simple truth is that if you had a mere kernel of faith, a poppy seed, say, you would tell this mountain, move, and it would move. There is nothing you wouldn't be able to tackle. So that problem you've got that's causing you such great stress, that seems so complicated, so hopeless, that feels like there's no good answer to this. Well, there is an answer for it, and you can tackle it with God. Just take God seriously. Take these kingdom principles that God teaches us in His Word and start reigning in life. Start moving mountains of problems. When you start to follow this plan, your soul starts to experience freedom. It's like getting released from a prison cell of hopelessness and overwhelm. Your Christian walk starts to become thrilling. You start to experience victory, and you get a new outlook on life and a new sense of power. Instead of tackling your problems in a reactionary mode and full of emotion, use this plan to respond to the problem, letting your spirit dominate. Just walk through one step at a time. I'm on a mission to help Christians to know that stress is not something we have to put up with until we get to heaven. It's not God's will for our lives. We are to be reigning in life and spreading the fame of God's goodness all around the world. And being full of stress, worry, or fear isn't going to do that. Hey, if you found this video helpful, would you do me a favor, please? Would you share it on social media or tag someone that you know needs this information? And if you'd like more tools, tips, and training like this, check out the free gift I have for you down below.